Property advice for real.
With Howser.com, the UAE's new home for buying, renting or selling a property.
Right, time for us to focus on all things property. Well, today we want to focus on a specific sector of the property market here. This comes after Nakheel secured strategic finance package of 17 billion dirhams to drive their latest phase of growth. The finance will be utilised to accelerate the development of its new projects, including Dubai Islands and, according to Nakheel, other large waterfront projects. It seems like...
Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the sea. I do like to stroll upon the...
Well, does everyone? It's a question we're going to put to our property experts today. Sarah Hewerdine is the head of marketing for Howser. Morning to you.
Good morning. Nice song choice.
Not at all, that's come out of the archives this morning. Do we like to be by the seaside? In terms of property and real estate, just how significant is property either next to the sea or with a sea view?
Extremely so, yes. I think that's something we've noticed in the last couple of years as we've seen a lot more international investment pour into the Dubai market. So this announcement from Nakheel definitely gives us a wealth of new supply in that area.
I mean, the Nakheel announcement, the Nakheel numbers were eye-watering. I know it's buying back a lot of debt and there's all sorts of economics involved in where that money's coming from, etc. But it is it's significant that they've gone to market with that figure and sort of almost a recommendation to others as well that this is where they want to focus their future.
Extremely so, yeah. So when we look at, the financing that's come in for Nakheel, and we look at the areas in which that's going to go, you've got Dubai Islands, previously Deira Islands. They've already announced that's going to have roughly 38,000 residential units. That's huge. Considering last year in Dubai, 35,000 was the total number of handed over units. 38,000 is a very large number. Now this will be staggered, there'll be projects, it'll take a long time for that to materialise. But we know that a large portion of it will go towards there, but then you've also got to look at Palm Jebel Ali. This is also going to be a very large waterfront project, again, which the financing is definitely going to go towards. So when you look at that, you've got around... I think the figures we're hearing at the moment are around 1,700 villas and about 6,000 apartments. So again, prime waterfront location, and this is definitely where the financing will go towards.
What's it look like in terms of price per square foot or square metre here when it comes to waterfront?
Depends where you look, to be honest with you. You look somewhere like Emaar Beachfront, which is prime, you're right on the beach. You're looking at around $1,700 a square foot, quite attractive. If you look towards Jumeirah Bay, you're looking much more towards around $3,000-4,000. So it varies depending on which area of the market you look at, the type of unit, but again, varies a lot, but still attractive when you look on a global scale.
I'm going to ask a silly question. That's because I can, and I do. But does beachfront change from waterfront as well? The reason I ask is obviously we've got a load of waterfront properties here, be it on the canal, down at the creek or otherwise. Is that different?
Yeah, there is a slight change when you look towards beachfront and waterfront. I think that's an important distinction to make because when you look at waterfront properties, and everyone talks about waterfront properties, when you look globally, a lot of people think about waterfront as getting direct access to maybe beaches, whereas here we consider waterfront as maybe the marina or maybe even JLT on the lakes, for example. So there's a lot of different variations, but yes, when you look towards direct water access, then you definitely see more of a premium on that tag.
Let's talk about supply and demand. I mean, intention there from Nakheel and a sign of intention with the announcement of their financing as well. A lot of their infrastructure is in place. You mentioned there the Palm Jebel Ali, a lot of the infrastructure is in place there, so opportunity for them to fast track that. In terms of land availability, beachfront or coastal land availability, do we have a lot here or not?
So a lot of it thus far has actually been announced recently. So with these two new projects, you've got a lot of the land and prime Dubai taken up. You've had La Mer that's recently ongoing. So there's not a huge amount left per se, but you've got these projects that honestly, when they start announcing projects and handing over, you've got 10 plus years of waterfront properties that will come to the market. So although a lot of it may already be taken from a land perspective, you've definitely got longevity on how those projects will hand over.
compare and contrast if you can as well, because we're looking at it a lot from a property point of view. We talk often, don't we, about the visa possibilities now. We're seeing a lot more wealth coming into the city as well. With wealth comes demand for, higher demands when it comes to property and real estate as well. Is this a sort of perfect fit when it comes to waterfront, when it comes to beachfront, when it comes to coastal facing for the high net worth individuals looking to move in?
Yeah, 100%. And that is definitely what we have seen for, who's attracted these type of units. So when you look at the price point entry now for Dubai to get a residential visa, for example, it's only about $550,000 with that new 2 million dirham benchmark. When you compare that to other cities they'd look to reside, Monaco, $1 million, Singapore, 1.8, UK, about 2 million. I'm talking about direct access for residency through property. So Dubai is very attractive now. And if we're introducing more waterfront property, and that waterfront property varies from, studios and one beds all the way up to 4-bed duplexes. So you've got a really variety of units now that's going to cater towards that. And like I said, the point of entry now is far more attractive.
We talk about supply and demand here in Dubai. I mean, lest we forget as well, we've got a very long coastline across the whole of the UAE. We've got Abu Dhabi as well. And we've seen a focus there, a shift of focus towards the islands. That is a natural archipelago of islands. Huge potential down there.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think when you look away, away from Dubai down that coastline, there's definitely a lot more opportunities as we head towards Abu Dhabi. And I think it'll be interesting how Abu Dhabi develops, because Dubai has done so well and we've really, there's a spotlight on Dubai now globally. I think it'll be interesting to see how the developers adapt down that coastline and what else they introduce. And it's like every city, it will build and it will expand. And I think we're just at the start when we look at that.
Sarah, thank you so much indeed for your time.